First of all, as not everyone is acquainted with your background and your career as a sustainability consultant and business strategist, would you like to start telling us more about yourself and which are the main working and voluntary experiences that have enabled you to become the sustainability expert you are?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm a chemical engineer, so I have that background, and I've been working with industries for many years before I, entered the sustainability or consultancy part. And I have worked with the business development, so I understand business and strategy and that side of a company. But also I've been working with the United Nations as a global marketplace, and actually that was there where I realized that in order to become relevant for the United Nations, we had to express communicate how we could share the common shared value with them. So that's when I incorporated the SDGs in the communication. This was in 2016. So that's kind of where it all started. And since then I have 3 companies now, running 3 companies from 2019 and working with both educating people on how to work with sustainability, but also transforming companies to become sustainable and integrate sustainability into their strategy.
As every other job, challenges occur, and a lot of companies are still not even aware of the existence of the SDGs, or they show difficulties in actually grabbing such a wide concept. How do you ensure as a consultant and as a CEO that individuals and partners you are working with get to understand the 2030 UN agenda?
Yeah, so, well, it's all about education, to educate people about what is sustainability and understanding why is sustainability important. And so it all starts with the education. And sustainability is a very broad area to work with. So there's like economic sustainability, social and environmental sustainability. And mostly people connect sustainability with environment, which is not fully correct, right? So the Sustainable Development Goals, there are 17, and they are actually a really good framework to have and to understand sustainability. So yeah, I would start there to educate people, understand the 17 SDGs and how they relate to companies.
And with that, why do you think it's like understanding and grabbing this concept is so very important for companies?
Yeah, so because it's business critical. You as a company need to understand why it's business critical, and it has to do with our planet, right? So if companies do not integrate sustainability into their strategy, they will actually be out of business, and I would say in 1 or 2 years. Because as you as a company need to qualify, for example, for procurement or for your investors, and but also for your future employers to qualify for, to have them work for you.
So it's about survival.
Yeah,
basically.
it is.
Companies and the planet.
Yeah.
You all need to survive.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, in relation to the previous question, once the company has or is acquainted with the SDG concept, what are the necessary steps you need to take to become a sustainable company and to get verified within that field?
Yeah. So the first thing is to understand the sustainability, to educate yourself within that. But then the next step is like having your business strategy very clear, to understand what is your strategy, and also to understand your value chain, to map your value chain. And the next step then is to map the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, to your value chain and see how they are impacting your value chain and how you're contributing both in a positive way, but also where do you have your challenges, where do you have your negative impact, and how can you reduce those negative impacts. So so when you do this, you actually end up like, wow, we are like working with sustainability. So companies are actually not as bad as they think they are working with sustainability. However, companies needs to find focus and prioritize what is most important in short term and in long term to work with. So the next step then is to find focus and prioritize. And you do this by including your stakeholders. And stakeholders could be different ones, such as your employees, but also your customers, your owners, your investors, and so on. So you need to include them in the process and understand what is important for them and what is the most critical things you need to work with. So it could, for example, be that your customer says that it's truly important for us that you as a supplier work with minimizing your carbon footprint. Okay, so that's like, one thing that you need to focus on. And find those activities. How do you reduce your carbon footprint in your plant? So finding focus and prioritizing. And then I would also say that communicate. Tell your stakeholders, both internally and externally, what you do, how you do it, and being transparent about your sustainability work. After you have communicated both internally and externally about your work and being transparent about it and had your verification from an accredited third party, it's actually not the end station. You have to continue. And what happens is, and this is truly interesting because it's where it all starts then, because you include your stakeholders in these steps, and especially your customers, to understand your customers' needs, and you understand your technology. That makes that what happens is that you start to innovate and you find new maybe new products or new business models or new innovations, and that's really, I think that's one of the most important things also to work with sustainability, and not just to qualify for a market and procurement and all that, but also being a relevant supplier, an innovative supplier for your clients.
Great. And how do you avoid something called greenwashing? And first of all, what is greenwashing?
Yeah, so greenwashing is a term for like highlighting those positive impacts that you do in your company. And greenwashing is like it's not always obvious for companies that they are greenwashing because it's easy to talk about those things that are great at your company and that you work with. So minimizing the risk to greenwash is actually being transparent about your challenges as well. Where do you have your challenges and what are those challenges? For example, like, how do you minimize your negative impacts on the environment or society? What are those activities? So to avoid greenwashing, you should be really transparent and truthful, and also get verified by an accredited third party that verifies your work.
Before digging into any more details, would like to know what caught your attention about Granuldisk and how our collaboration started.
Yeah. So Granuldisk is a company that's situated here in Malmö, and I'm from Malmö. So I've actually followed Granuldisk for many years, and I think it's a very interesting company because you work with dishwashers, right? And when you think about dishwashers, it's not that like sexy thing to think about, but it's like you have, billions of people are eating food, and then you have to take care of your cutlery and plates and dish, and take care of the dishes. So, but what you have done is a very innovative product that you have on the market, because what you do is you take care of the water, reduce the water consumption when you rinse the dishes, but also working with your people to have a good working environment, and also the efficiency. How fast can you dish the plates? And also think about the environment. So like, for example, you have the biodegradable granulates. That's one thing. Or you have the high pressure water rinsing the plates and such. So I think it's a truly interesting product. And you have a great market. I mean, there's billions of people and restaurants out there in the world.
And everyone needs to eat. Right?
And everyone needs to eat. No, exactly.
So how would you define Granuldisk dishwashers with one single word, if that's possible?
Yeah, well, it's not possible. But actually, I define it by your mission statement. I love your mission statement. And that's like you're saving the world or the planet by one drop at a time. And I think that's mirroring what you actually do. So, saving the planet one drop at a time.
That's great. Could you please share the steps and actions that have enabled Granuldisk to be successful in the sustainability field, and how we have improved from day one until now?
I would say that it's all about leadership. To taking lead on sustainability and make the change and transformation that is required to become a sustainable company. So I've seen that you, from your CEO and your managers taking lead on this journey and identifying those areas that you need to work with and take action on them. And I think, you could actually, by just reading your sustainability report, you can actually see how you have improved. And that's because you measure things and you have set some targets and ambitions, and then you measure it and follow it up, and you can see the result there. Yeah.
So Granuldisk was actually recently awarded a certification for being a great place to work. How could this certification help us become even more involved with the SDGs? Maybe as goal number 8, for instance, which means decent work and economic growth.
Yeah. So a great place at work, for me, that means that you have a great leadership. Because what it's actually about is that you include your workers, your employees, and you ask questions. What is important for them? And that could, for example, be like having a diverse staff, or an inclusive leadership, or it could be about health and working environment. It's safe to work here. And also, of course, to have an economic stability and a long-term, vision for the company. So, but I would say it's about having an inclusive leadership.
How would you think Granuldisk sustainable path could be of inspiration to other companies?
So, you are an inspiration and you have done a lot of work. So just coming here and being invited to this wonderful plant or factory of yours, I would say people should come here and visit you and see how you do things. But also, as an inspiration, it's always great to talk about it and have some small videos about how you do things and spread it and communicate. And I think also it's very inspiring to see not just there's some difficulties sometimes, and there's some challenges and hurdles to overcome, and to talk about it also. It's also inspiring how you have overcome those challenges and hurdles. And
not only the great things, but also the challenges.
Yeah, just the challenges, because it is challenging to work as a manager, a CEO, and transform the whole company to become a sustainable one. It is challenging, of course.
So a last question. Having seen how Granuldisk has worked towards becoming a better and more sustainable company during the past few years, do you have any precious recommendations for us for the future?
Yeah, I do. And that's actually to get verified by an accredited third party, to verify your wonderful work and being transparent and truthful about it. I know that one of your core values is being transparent, but it's still to avoid greenwashing and, you know, and being trustworthy, you need to have that accredited third party verifying your work. So that's my recommendation for you.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eva, for coming here and talking to us about sustainable
Thank you.
work. Thank you.
Thanks.